Happy holidays, and thank you for joining us for The Drive Back, the movie podcast where we imitate our favorite thing to do after a movie, which of course is to talk about it on the ride home. I'm Garrett, and as always, I'm joined by my good friend and co-host, Adrian.
Hey, I'm feeling jolly. Thanks for asking.
I didn't know I did, but I'm glad to hear you're doing jolly. And this week, we've got a special holiday episode for The Drive Back. You've got your Christmassy flannel on. I have got my totally inoffensive Christmas sweater on. This is fantastic. But all of this and more is coming up on The Drive Back. Alrighty, we're here with our holiday episode. We're taking a look at a randomly picked Christmas movie that I don't think either of us have seen before.
I had.
Oh, well, Adrian has seen this movie before. Didn't know that. We are going to be reviewing Deck the Halls. Released in 2006, it was directed by John Whitesell and stars Matthew Broderick, Danny DeVito, and Kristen Chenoweth. Two neighbors have it out after one of them decorates his house for the holidays so brightly it can be seen from space. It was nominated for 3 Razzie Awards. For Worst Supporting Actor for Danny DeVito, Worst Supporting Actress for Kristen Chenoweth, and I'm not joking on this one. This is a real award. Worst Excuse for Family Entertainment. So on that note, let's talk. What do we think of Deck the Halls?
Spoiler-free version is this movie is horrific. I think nothing in this movie makes sense. The excuse, for plot momentum, makes no sense. Literally, I think I'll wait till spoilers, but there is, no reason this movie needed to be made.
Yeah. I thought this year that I had seen 2 or 3 of the worst films I'd ever seen. One of them was the Amazon Cinderella. The other was Space Jam: A New Legacy. The worst by far that I saw this year was The Starving Games, which was a parody film of Hunger Games. This is up there. Major title.
Yeah.
This is a complete waste of time. I physically had pain in me while watching this movie, which sucks because I love Danny DeVito and I love Matthew Broderick as actors. I think they're great, but I don't know what went wrong. Let's go ahead and talk about it more in detail, though.
Yeah, spoiler warning for Deck the Halls, the movie that you probably don't care that we spoil.
Or even if you've even heard of, because I didn't know this existed. Again.
Yeah, just absolutely the humor in this movie, from the very get-go, when you see the German couple running and they fall over the plant, and it's because that's hilarious. I just knew that that it was going to be so dated in its comedy. There's also, incest jokes.
Oh my
gosh. For a family movie, it's 0% appropriate. There's so many weird sexual innuendos. There's so much humor. I think it's racist at one point. Just all of it is so dated and so cringy. That it's just not good. A lot of crimes committed as well.
With no fucking regard for public safety or public laws.
Yeah, felony. I think each husband commits at least 10 felonies during this movie.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I just realized I dropped the first F-bomb that I've ever dropped on this show, and it happened to be on the Christmas episode.
Oh really?
But
I didn't even hear it. How funny! I'll have to listen back.
We're at the generation where we don't care what.
It didn't even faze me,
right? Oh man, I apologize for anyone out there who's listening who's just my word, and won't listen to the show ever again.
There's also homophobia, and this movie literally with the cop.
Oh yeah! Oh my gosh! Yeah.
So there's a cop who is wearing his cop uniform, but underneath he's got, or he's basically wearing during the time were deemed women's panties. And Matthew Broderick sees it, and he's trying to file a claim, and he sees the underwear and leaves the police station. Like, he just can't handle it at all. It's really awkward. This movie does not hold up, and I would be interested to see if the people that wrote this script and the jokes still have jobs, because I feel like you cannot after making this movie.
I feel like the writers and directors were probably at the freaking Capitol riots in January 6th, like, oh my god, let's get this country back to a time when we could make Deck the Halls 2. Oh my gosh. Now, we're going to talk spoilers. Who cares? Don't watch this movie. If you do, for any reason, if you like torturing yourself, it's on HBO Max, but don't. Please.
This is a movie that's, like, so bad that it wouldn't even be a fun drinking game. Like, you would just find yourself over the movie immediately.
I would do this as a drinking game. If you did it if you took a shot every time the movie was trying to be funny. And then it doesn't work, with the express intention of killing myself, would be why I would do the drinking game for this movie. Like, you know what? I'm so depressed. I'm so over it. Let's do the drinking game for Deck the Halls, because we're just ending it tonight. Like,
Merry Christmas, everyone.
We didn't know what we were picking when we said Deck the Halls.
The note that you leave behind are the rules to the Deck the Halls drinking game. That's
It's not even like, a typical note. It's just like, all right, whenever Matthew Broderick makes a funny face, whenever Danny DeVito makes a fart joke, or like whatever it is. Oh my gosh. Anyhow.
Also, like, the severe debt that Danny DeVito's character must be in. Like, a reel of Christmas lights is like $40.
For a quality outdoor one, probably, yeah.
That's what, for ones that you would hang up, like, that'll cover the whole length of your house, for sure. Yeah. This guy has, like, towards the end of the movie, he has, like, I'm gonna just say 100 TVs, basically, on his house. That I bet each of those things was like a couple grand for outdoor LED screens.
Which in 2006, it wasn't even common.
Yeah, no, it's insane. And even in this, like, he literally sells his wife's, like, cherished vase that is supposed to be worth more than, like, a mansion just to buy more Christmas lights. And then also, pet peeve, I don't get why he had to set up the nativity scene. That does not help the goal of being seen from space, which is the whole premise of the movie.
Let's take one structure that doesn't have lights in it historically and put it in the front of our house and try and make it seen from space. No.
Yeah, so, to take a step back, the premise of this movie is that one neighbor wants his house to have so many Christmas lights that it can be seen from space.
Yes.
And that causes a lot of problems in the neighborhood. But one scene that I really hated, because you watch a movie, you kind of get invested in the story. You're just watching it, and you're like, okay, what's going to happen here? The scene where it's like 4 a.m. and the music is still going across the street and it's really light, and then he's like, man, that guy just won't turn it down. And then his wife goes, you're also to blame for this. And it's like, if it's this bad, I bet this whole town
would be complaining.
Is complaining. Like, not just the guy across the street. It doesn't make any sense.
We can take our kids by at night and we can see the lights. So stupid. There is a premise here that is decent. I would like to see a good holiday movie about two families duking out, trying to one-up each other with decorations. That could be funny if done well and not written like a piece of crap.
This movie felt like it was trying to be like a National Lampoon, like edgy comedy kind of movie.
Yeah.
And it missed the mark big time and just went into big time cringe.
It felt like it was trying to be like that Vacation type movie or like Christmas Vacation. Yeah, definitely.
Which can work. You can skirt the border. But this movie, like, oh my gosh, that whole, when they're watching the girls dance, the two dads are like, they're like, hey, you're a man, right? Like, let's look at these girls. And for some reason, honestly, the most awkward humans in the planet, there's a big crowd, and just Danny DeVito and, I already forgot, Matthew Broderick are like, woo! woo, like just cheering, like, and then
there's kids there. There's like families, and they're like, "Who's your daddy?"
And then they turn around and it's their daughters, and he's like, "Who's your I'm your daddy." It's like literally it's just so cringe the entire time, and it's just a super uncomfortable movie. And they definitely focus on like, again, this was literally supposed to be a family movie, like 100%. But they have Kristen Chenoweth dressed like super scandalous the entire film, even though it's winter. Bundle up, people. Yeah, just terrible. I don't even know what to say. I just feel like even I do have this pet peeve also. I feel like this movie was supposed to be a back and forth between the characters, and I feel like Buddy just wins every time.
Yeah.
So there is no even like expectation of like, oh, like who's gonna win this battle or who's gonna come out on top. It's like, no, we know it's gonna happen. So yeah, terrible. Hate it. Don't watch it. Skip it.
No, absolutely. Just do not. Like you hear stories about the U.S. government using American entertainment to torture people at like Guantanamo and stuff. Like they put on Metallica, things like that. I wouldn't put this in front of anyone. Like this should be sanctioned by the UN as a psychological weapon that should not be utilized by any country.
Disney didn't make this, but they need to own up and put it in the vault. I don't want to see this anymore.
It is a Fox movie, so technically Disney owns it now. So
it needs to be the first Disney movie to go into the vault and
never come out. Put it at the bottom of Scrooge McDuck's coin pile, never to be seen again. Oh,
for the first time, a non-Disney film is going into the vault this January.
So bad. The only moment in this movie where I somewhat slightly more than I normally do as someone who is slightly overweight exhaled out of my nose, or forcefully, somewhat. Air left my lungs.
Nice.
Not even. It was like you couldn't even hear it. Was the part when he goes up on his roof and he's getting ready to fire off the rockets, like the fireworks, and the screens that are on top of Buddy's house, and it's him with the cable going, "Good night, Rick," or whatever his name is, and then disconnecting it, and it goes to like that static. I was like, "Oh, that's clever." That's it. There's nothing else in this movie. And there's fade outs. There's the part when like Buddy's like, "Oh, I hate what he did." When he figures out that like he threw the snowball at his thing, he's like, "I hate what he did." And halfway through the sentence, it starts fading to black. And
it's like they were planning for commercials.
But like it faded during his sentence and then picked up later. It made no sense. And who in their right mind is like, you know what? I'm sorry, I'm really gonna have to sacrifice my job to get my lights seen from space. And you're like, the guy's like, well, if your lights matter so much, then you lose your job. Like that was the most realistic sentence this entire movie. Like any real manager would have been like, yeah, you won't have your job when you come back.
Yeah, I also feel like...
And he's like, all right, well, then go ahead and lose me. Like...
I also feel like the whole thing for Buddy... This is like my last point, I guess. But the whole thing for Buddy is like he's supposed to be this really good salesman. Like at one point in the movie, he sells a car to the owner of the dealership. Which I will give the movie... I thought that was pretty kind of witty when he's like, I just bought a car.
And at sticker price.
And at sticker. Like, that was kind of funny. Okay. But then also like when he gets confronted by Matthew Broderick and he's like, oh, I don't get sarcasm. Like, I'm not socially adjusted. And it's like, then how are you such a good salesman? Like, you can't just be a robot. Like, you have to... His character just didn't line up, but none of the characters really did. Yeah, just terrible.
No, and how did Danny DeVito get married to Kristen Chenoweth?
Well, money.
Oh, well.
Look at the house.
I mean, if he can sell anything to anyone, apparently he can sell himself to freaking
China.
Kristen Chenoweth. Oh my gosh. What?
What?
Did you say sell himself to China?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
Anyhow, I'm done talking about this movie. Let's go ahead and get some final thoughts in. Adrian, I mean, we already know what you're going to say for your final thoughts.
Yeah, I'll just give it my score. I gave it a 4%. There's nothing really redeeming. I think there's like maybe one or two jokes that don't cross the line and like kind of push it that are kind of funny, and a couple of creative things that aren't even worth mentioning because they're so small. But I don't think it's an absolute 0% or anything. Like, I'm not going to break the scale for it, but it is, I think, my lowest rated film to date.
I'm actually going to go back and check that right now because I have it pulled up. Your lowest rated film to date, that is absolutely it. Your other lowest rated film was Righteous Kill, which you gave a 6.
Did not like that movie.
Yeah, I can tell.
Remember when he just got shot like 1,000 times through the wall?
For no reason?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And then and we're not talking about Righteous Kill here. We're talking about this.
I wish I could righteously kill the director of this movie. Just kidding.
That's horrid, and that's not getting edited out. Anyhow, as far as my final thoughts, I have a sentence. Deck the Halls is abysmal. It's unfunny and outright painful. Instead of coal in your stocking, you receive this piece of cinematic excrement. And Adrian gave his lowest score in podcast history to this movie. My lowest score of all time was a 4, which I gave to Alien Resurrection. This is now my lowest score. Deck the Halls gets a 1.
Nice.
There is
rightfully so.
No redeeming part of this movie. Don't watch it. Don't watch it on a dare. Don't watch it as a drinking challenge to kill yourself. Don't watch it if you're in Guantanamo Bay and you're being tortured. Just
close your eyes and ears.
Just don't. Just stop. Anyhow, on to more happy news. Adrian, if anyone wants to follow us online after this incredible rant about a movie that no one should remember, where can they find us online?
The Drive Back Podcast everywhere. If you want to talk to us, you can find us on Instagram. We give a little shout out every time we have a new episode. You can find us on any podcasting app, whether that be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, whatever you use. And then also, if you want to watch us, we're here on YouTube. So go ahead and subscribe, hit the bell, and do a little notification thing for the like button. Yeah, we post every Monday. So a lot of movies every year, episode a week, which usually includes a couple movies. So if you're definitely looking for something to watch, we've got the list for you. We keep track of all of our scores and everything, so totally accessible and viewable. If you want to kind of pick a random movie, just throw one on and see how you like it. Tell us we're right or wrong.
There you go, which I think everyone will probably agree with us on this one. So
yeah,
there is that. Next week, we do have an exciting episode to kind of close out 2021. We have our top 20 films we're looking forward to in 2022.
Yes.
And unfortunately, some of them were on the list for our top 20 most anticipated of 2021. So
yes, some are still there.
We'll see how it goes. Following that, we'll have another episode going over our kind of similar to what we did last, kind of this time of year last time, which was our top 20 favorite things of 2021. The episode where we get to talk about the things we like outside of movies, which is always a lot of fun. TV shows, video games, music, anything really that kind of made 2021 arguably a better year, I would say, than 2020 on the whole. Yeah. There's still a lot of crap that happened, but what are you gonna do? But then after that, we have a brand new thing we're gonna start doing, the Drive Back Awards. Which is going to celebrate the best of film in 2021, according to us. We'll have our own nominees. Each one of us is going to nominate different films and give different winners. And that's going to be coming forward in the second week of January. So look forward to that. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Happy holidays to everyone out there, to whatever you celebrate, whatever it may be, however you celebrate it, whatever you believe in.
Happy holidays!
You do you. Celebrate your favorite holiday, or just drink like I probably will. But either way, have fun, and we'll see you guys next time on The Drive Back. Thank you for listening to this episode of The Drive Back. Make sure to be on the lookout for new episodes every Monday, and make sure to follow us on social media.